everyone, we're Mimicker, here to introduce all kinds of knowledge, even the stuff we didn't know about. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the life and, well, astounding legacy of a figure who, you could argue, really shaped the childhoods of generations. All across the globe, actually.
Yeah.
Yet his name might not immediately jump to mind for everyone.
That's true.
You've almost certainly seen his work, though, laughed at his characters, maybe even grew up singing the theme songs.
Oh, definitely the theme song.
Without truly realizing the sheer monumental impact he had on the entire landscape of entertainment, really.
Yeah.
We're talking about someone whose creations became so deeply woven into pop culture, transcending language, borders.
I feel like they've always been there.
Yeah.
Part of the background noise, almost.
Exactly. So today we're peeling back the curtain on William Hanna.
That's right. And he was far more than just, a talented animator or a creative director. He was really a pivotal visionary figure.
Visionary, yeah.
He didn't just sort of participate in how animation evolved. He quite literally revolutionized it. His insights, his adaptability, which was remarkable, and some really daring decisions fundamentally changed how animated stuff was produced, how it was distributed, and, well, ultimately, how we all consumed it.
Right.
He paved the way for the television animation we know today. You can still feel his influence in, almost every cartoon you see.
So our mission with this deep dive isn't just, simple biography. We want to really explore how Hanna's unique personal journey, and it's pretty nomadic, as you'll hear.
Yeah.
How that profoundly influenced his professional choices. We'll get into his legendary partnership with Joseph Barbera.
The half of the equation.
Exactly. How it became not just a collaboration, but like an industry benchmark for complementary skills and sustained success, too.
For decades.
And we'll uncover the groundbreaking innovations that came out of that, especially how they figured out how to mass produce animation for TV, this whole new medium.
Which was a huge challenge.
Totally. And ultimately, we're going to look at how his creations became this unique mirror, kind of reflecting and shaping American culture.
Subtly, sometimes.
Yeah, subtly. And what this all means for you, our listener, because you almost certainly have a cherished memory or two tied to his work.
Oh, absolutely. It's almost guaranteed.
So let's jump right in. Let me ask you, the listener, a simple question. When you think of, the iconic cat and mouse duo.
The ultimate cat and mouse duo.
Right. Graced screens for decades, delighted audiences, won a ton of awards. Tom and Jerry probably springs right to mind.
Instantly.
But do you know who really brought them to life? Who oversaw every chase, every trap, every hilarious gag?
It was, of course, William Hanna and his partner, Joseph Barbera.
William Denby, Bill Hanna, born 1910, passed away in 2001. He wasn't just significant, he was absolutely pivotal. Not just in 20th century American animation, but globally. He was way more than an animator or director.
He was a visionary entrepreneur and industry innovator.
Yeah, and he spanned two massive eras, didn't he? From Hollywood theatrical shorts...
The Golden Age stuff.
...to basically founding and running a whole new television animation empire.
Right. He and Barbera literally defined childhood memories for, multiple generations all over the planet.
It's an incredible legacy.
And when you look at their actual work...
Yeah.
I mean, the achievements just speak for themselves. Back at MGM, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer.
The big studio.
Yeah. Hanna-Barbera co-created Tom and Jerry. And that series won an incredible 7 Academy Awards for animated shorts.
7.
7. That's a record that still stands today for any animated short series. Just think about that level of consistent acclaim.
It's mind-blowing.
But then their impact really exploded with television. In 1957, they saw this moment of disruption.
When MGM let them go, right?
Exactly. They seized that moment and founded Hanna-Barbera Productions. And from then on, they launched this just astonishing string of beloved TV cartoons. Still household names.
With the Flintstones, Scooby-Doo.
The Jetsons, Yogi Bear. I mean, the list goes on. They made nearly 300 animated series and features.
Wow.
And get this. At their peak in the 1960s, their shows were reaching over 300 million viewers worldwide.
300 million? Back then?
Back then. And not just in the U.S. Translated into more than 20 languages. That shows this just immense cultural influence. Across continents, Tokyo to Timbuktu, literally.
That global reach is just staggering. Hard to even wrap your head around for that time.
Totally.
But here's where Hanna's impact gets, really deep. His biggest contribution was probably overhauling the whole animation production model. The system itself.
Yeah. Imagine being at the top of your game, making these award-winning shorts. But suddenly the money dries up. Budgets get slashed.
The economics just change completely with TV.
Right. So instead of giving up, Hanna and Barbera, led by Hanna's, pragmatic genius, they invented a whole new way of doing things.
Limited animation.
Exactly. They pioneered and popularized limited animation. And it wasn't just about cutting costs. It was revolutionary for the industry. It had to be.
It made mass production for TV even possible, turned it from this expensive niche thing into a sustainable business.
And that directly led to the whole Saturday morning cartoon phenomenon.
Directly. Dominated the airwaves for decades, shaped kids' weekends everywhere. It fundamentally changed the industry's economics and, its art style, too.
Absolutely. A real pivot point.
So, knowing that massive impact, let's rewind. Let's look at where this titan came from. Where did that unique mix of creativity and, hardcore pragmatism come from?
Yeah, to really get Hanna's approach, you have to look at his early life.
Yeah.
Which was definitely not conventional.
Oh, yeah.
William Hanna was born July 14th, 1910, and not where you might expect. Melrose, New Mexico.
New Mexico, wow.
Yeah. Grew up in what he called a red-blooded Irish-American family. Strong values, big family. Third of 7 kids, the only son.
Ah, the only son. That often means something.
It does. And his father was a construction superintendent. Built railroads, water systems, big projects. So the family moved a lot, following the jobs across the West. Oregon, Utah, California.
Constantly moving.
Constantly. Never really settled in one place for long. In this nomadic childhood, always adjusting to new places, new schools. And it likely built this incredible adaptability in him.
Ah, makes sense.
Resilience, too. Qualities he definitely needed later when the industry shifted so dramatically from the studio system to early TV.
That's a great point. That constant change probably prepared him. So beyond moving, what else shaped him early on? Passions, values?
Well, he loved the outdoors, which stayed with him his whole life. And artistically, he got into music pretty early. Played saxophone in a high school dance band.
Saxophone.
And that passion for music never really left him. It fed right into his animation timing, his sense of rhythm.
Ah, the timing. So crucial in animation.
Exactly. He even personally coordinated the music for some of the big shows, like that incredibly catchy Flintstones theme. It had a great ear.
You can definitely hear it. But what about the values? You mentioned strong values.
Right. Maybe the most defining experience for him was the Boy Scouts. He didn't just join. He achieved the rank of Eagle Scout.
Wow, Eagle Scout. That's tough.
It really is.
Yeah.
Required leadership, service, skills. And he didn't just stop there. He stayed involved his whole life, served as a scoutmaster as an adult.
Really dedicated.
So dedicated that in 1985 he got the Distinguished Eagle Scout Award, one of their highest honors, for scouts who achieved national recognition.
Okay.
And according to Han himself in his autobiography, that was the award he was proudest of. More than the Oscars, more than the Emmys.
More than the Oscars. Seriously.
Seriously. That tells you so much about his core character. Discipline, responsibility, structure, planning. These were fundamental to him.
The Scout motto, be prepared.
He lived it. And those values became the bedrock of his success as both a creative leader and, frankly, a sharp entrepreneur.
So his path into animation wasn't like a lifelong dream then. It was more practical.
It was forged by crisis, really. The Great Depression. He'd started college, Compton City College, studying journalism and structural engineering.
Structural engineering, that fits the pragmatic side.
Exactly. But the Depression hit, forced him to drop out. He worked briefly as a construction engineer, actually helped build the Pantages Theater in Hollywood.
No kidding.
Yeah. But then laid off, like so many people. He did odd jobs, worked at a car wash, just trying to get by.
Tough times.
Definitely. Then this opportunity came up, kind of out of the blue. His sister's boyfriend suggested a job at Pacific Title and Art. They made title cards for movies.
Ah, so drawing, lettering.
Right. And that's where his artistic talent really started to emerge. He found he had a knack for it. And that talent didn't stay unnoticed. In 1930, he got a job at Harman and Ising's animation studio. They'd done some early Looney Tunes.
Okay, getting closer to cartoons.
Yeah. Started right at the bottom, inking and painting cells. No formal animation training. But he learned fast. His organization skills stood out.
The structural engineer brain kicking in.
Probably. He got promoted quickly, became a department head, even wrote lyrics and music for some cartoons.
Bringing the music back in?
Right. Then, the big move. 1937. MGM wanted to build their own animation department and poached Hanna from Harman and Ising.
And that was the moment.
That was the turning point for him and for animation history, really. setting the stage for that legendary partnership.
So Hanna's success story isn't just about art. It's this duality, as you put it.
Exactly, this perfect fusion of structural thinking and artistic creativity.
The engineering studies, his dad in construction, the Boy Scouts discipline, that all gave him this deep understanding of structure, timing, efficiency, how things work.
Right. He knew how to build systems, how to make things run smoothly.
But at the same time, he had this love for music, this gift for drawing, the artistic side.
And that duality just clicked perfectly in his partnership with Joe Barbera. Barbera was the idea guy, the storyteller, the gag man.
The visionary.
Yeah. And Hanna was the architect, the guy who could take those abstract ideas and make them work on screen, his famous mastery of animation timing.
Making the gags land just right.
Exactly. And his skill in story construction. That wasn't just art, it was his structural brain applied to animation.
So he wasn't just an artist, he was an animation engineer.
That's a great way to put it. His background laid the groundwork for his precise directing at MGM, and later for that systematic, limited animation at Hanna-Barbera. It was key to overcoming those budget problems.
Okay, so now we understand Hanna's unique foundation. What happened when he met Joe Barbera at MGM?
So 1937, they both land jobs in MGM's new animation department around the same time. Barbera, he was from New York, had tried banking first.
Banking? Seriously?
Yeah, briefly. But he was passionate about cartooning, sold some to magazines, then got into animation. And at MGM, pure chance, their desks faced each other.
Serendipity.
Totally. And they clicked immediately. Discovered their skills were perfectly complementary. Barbera had the ideas, the stories, the storyboards, the gag.
The creative spark.
Right. And Hanna had the directorial talent, that gut instinct for pacing, rhythm, timing, making it all come alive.
The artist and the engineer working together.
Exactly. The foundation for a partnership that lasted incredibly over 60 years. Just amazing synergy.
60 years. That's almost unheard of.
It really is. So MGM Animation was struggling a bit at first, trying to find a hit. Barbara throws out an idea, a cat and mouse cartoon.
Which sounded pretty unoriginal.
Extremely unoriginal at the time. Someone apparently said, "How unoriginal can you get?"
Huh.
But Hanna and Barbara believed in it. That basic conflict, the powerful versus the weak, the chase, they saw the universal comedy potential.
The classic underdog story.
Exactly. So their first short was Puss Gets the Boot in 1940, featured Jasper the cat, basically Proto-Tom, and an unnamed mouse. Big hit. Got an Oscar nomination right away.
Wow, straight out of the gate.
Yeah. But even then, their boss, Fred Quimby, wasn't sold on a whole series. He thought there were too many cat and mouse cartoons already.
He didn't see the magic yet.
Not really. But then this random letter arrives from a theater owner in Texas, Bessa Short, asking when she could see that lovely cat and mouse cartoon again.
Just one letter.
One influential letter. It changed Quimby's mind. Cleared the way for Tom and Jerry.
Incredible. The fate of a legendary cartoon resting on one letter.
Pretty much. So Hanna and Barbera poured everything into Tom and Jerry. Made over 114 shorts in 17 years. Minimal dialogue, just pure, brilliant physical content.
Which is why it worked everywhere, right? No language barrier.
Exactly. Transcended language, culture, became a global phenomenon.
Yeah, and the awards kept coming.
Oh, yeah. Huge critical acclaim. 14 Oscar nominations for Best Animated Short. Won 7 times.
7 Oscars for Tom and Jerry alone.
Yep. Classics like The Yankee Doodle Mouse, The Cat Concerto, they often beat Disney. It was the most awarded animated series of its time. A real benchmark.
But behind the scenes, things weren't so rosy. You mentioned frustration.
Right. Despite their creative genius, under the MGM system, it was the producer, Fred Quimby, who got all the credit. He accepted every Oscar.
Seriously, he didn't even invite them on stage.
Never. Listed himself as the sole producer.
Yeah.
This lack of recognition year after year definitely fueled their desire for independence later on.
I bet. That would be incredibly frustrating.
Absolutely. But they were also innovating technically during this time. They pioneered mixing animation with live action seamlessly.
Oh, yeah, like Jerry dancing with Gene Kelly.
Exactly. And Anchors Away.
Yeah.
And Tom and Jerry swimming with Esther Williams in Dangerous When Wet.
Those scenes are legendary. Still look amazing today.
They were sensations back then.
Yeah.
Showed incredible technical skill.
But then this golden era at MGM just ended.
Abruptly. 1957. Right at their peak, really. But television was exploding. And profits for theatrical shorts were plummeting.
Ah, the changing times.
Yeah. MGM management did the math. Figured re-releasing old cartoons was cheaper and more profitable than making new ones.
Ouch.
So they just shut down the entire animation department. Hanna, Barbera, all 150 employees laid off with a single phone call.
A phone call after winning all those Oscars.
Yep. Barbera called it a thunderbolt. Shocking, especially since Tom and Jerry was always successful.
Wow. So a disaster, but also an opportunity.
In hindsight, yes, it was crushing at the time, but it forced them out of the studio system, away from the Quimby situation.
And push them towards television.
Exactly, which was this wide-open territory for animation, a crisis that became a catalyst.
It's fascinating how much of Tom and Jerry's success story seems almost accidental.
It really does. The unoriginal idea, the letter from Bessa Short saving it, getting laid off at their peak.
It shows how resilient they were. They weren't just artists. They could roll with the punches and find opportunities in chaos.
Definitely. And that Quimby dynamic, the lack of credit, that really highlights the power imbalance in the old studio system.
You can see why they wanted out, why they wanted control.
Absolutely. It must have been a powerful motivator. So that 1957 layoff, while it felt like a disaster, it was really a liberation.
A chance to build their own thing on their own terms.
Precisely. Free from those constraints. So out of those MGM ashes, a new empire was ready to rise. Built on talent, sure, but also necessity and some really clever innovation.
Okay, so let's unpack that fresh start. Laid off from MGM, but they didn't just sit around.
Nope. They acted incredibly fast, used their retirement funds as startup capital, founded their own company July 7, 1957, just weeks after leaving MGM.
Wow, no time wasted. And the name? Hanna-Barbera. There's a story there, right?
Yeah, the famous coin toss. They literally flipped a coin to see whose name came first. Shows how equal the partnership was.
Huh, love that. So it was HB Enterprises first, then Hanna-Barbera Productions.
Right, and they got crucial help early on. Their old MGM colleague, George Sidney, who directed Anchors Away.
It's a Gene Kelly movie.
Yeah, he became the third partner, kind of behind the scenes. Used his clout to broker a deal with Screen Gems, Columbia Pictures' TV arm.
Getting that vital backing.
Exactly. Screen Gems provided capital, got an 18% stake, and became their distributor. That was huge for getting into television animation, which was still pretty niche.
So what was their first show?
The Rough and Ready Show, 1957. A cat and dog team. But the real breakthrough, the one that put them on the map, was the Huckleberry Hound Show in 58.
Huckleberry Hound. Classic.
Massive hit. And it made history. First animated series ever to win an Emmy. That cemented Hanna-Barbera's reputation and really announced a new era for animation on TV.
And their rise is completely tied to this limited animation idea, right?
Inextricably linked. It wasn't just an artistic choice. It was born from brutal economic necessity.
Talk about those budgets again. It was crazy low.
Insanely low. At MGM, maybe $35,000 to $65,000 for a 7-minute short. On TV, they had maybe $3,000 for 5 minutes.
Like 90% less money per minute. How do you even do that?
Well, they systematically developed and applied limited animation techniques on a huge scale. Others had experimented, like UPA.
Right.
But Hanna-Barbera perfected it for the relentless pace of TV production. The core idea drastically cut the number of drawings needed.
Fewer drawings, faster production.
Exactly. From maybe 14,000 drawings for a theatrical short down to around 2,000 for a TV episode.
How did they manage that?
Several clever tricks. Simplified character design, strong silhouettes, easy to draw repeatedly. Reused backgrounds, panning across one drawing instead of making many.
Okay.
Big one. Reusing action cycles, like walk cycles, run cycles, animate it once, loop it.
Sorry.
And crucially, animating only the parts that needed to move. A mouth talking, an arm waving, eyes blinking. The rest of the body stays static.
Breaking the character down.
Yeah, and using things like collars and neckties to separate the head from the body so you could just swap head animations without redrawing the whole figure. It was incredibly efficient.
Almost like engineering the animation process?
Very much so. But this new style, this simplification, it got a lot of flack, right?
Oh, yeah. Fierce criticism from the old guard, the full animation folks like at Disney. They saw it as cheap, sacrificing quality.
Didn't Chuck Jones call it illustrated radio?
He did, implying the visuals were stiff, just there to accompany the dialogue. The accusation was they were killing the art form for money.
Ouch.
But Hanna and Barbera had a clear defense, didn't they?
They did. Very pragmatic. They knew if they couldn't make animation work financially for TV, there'd be no animation on TV. Full stop.
It was a adapt or die, basically.
Exactly. So they shifted the focus. Less reliance on fluid motion, more emphasis on witty dialogue, strong characters, engaging stories.
Make the writing and characters carry the show.
Right. Barbara Racin famously said if they hadn't done it, they'd just have to find new jobs. It was a revolution born of necessity.
And the long-term impact was huge.
Massive.
Yeah.
Limited animation didn't just let Hanna-Barbera survive, it created the model for all TV animation. It enabled the whole Saturday morning cartoon boom.
Creating that cultural institution.
Yeah. And its influence went global. Think about early Japanese anime. They faced similar budget constraints.
Ah, interesting connection.
Yeah. They heavily adopted limited animation techniques, but put their own spin on it, focusing on dynamic camera work, intense emotion, complex stories. That lineage traces right back to Hanna-Barbera's innovation.
So it really was innovation driven by constraints. They didn't just make a cheaper version of Disney.
No, they changed the rules entirely. They shifted the entertainment value from just visual fluidity to, like, auditory charm and character personality.
Dialogue, sound effects, memorable characters.
Exactly. It became a new artistic choice, creating that clean, stylized look we associate with them. And without it, Saturday morning cartoons just wouldn't have happened.
It's a perfect example of limitations forcing creativity.
Absolutely. And their success led to massive growth. The 60s were their golden age. They were dubbed the General Motors of animation.
Because they were everywhere.
Everywhere. At one point, nearly 2/3 of all Saturday morning cartoons on the big three networks were Hanna-Barbera. Total dominance.
Incredible. And the company changed hands eventually.
Yeah, as happens with successful companies. Sold to Taft Broadcasting in '66 for about $12 million. Then in '91, Taft sold it to Ted Turner for around $320 million.
Wow, big jump in value.
Huge. And Turner immediately used that massive Hanna-Barbera library as the foundation for Cartoon Network, launching it the next year.
Smart move. Instant content library.
Genius move. Then, in '96, Time Warner merged with Turner, and Hanna-Barbera got absorbed into Warner Bros. Animation.
But Hanna and Barbera stayed involved.
They did, remained as advisors, guiding their creations right up until they passed away in 2001 and 2006.
What a run. So, okay, this is where it gets really interesting. How did these shows actually capture our imaginations and become such cultural touchstones?
Right, the sheer volume is one thing, but the impact.
Yeah, they didn't just entertain, they reflected society, didn't they? Just look at the list. Rough and Ready, Huckleberry Hound, Flintstones, Yogi Bear, Top Cat, Jetsons,
Johnny Quest, Space Ghost.
Scooby-Doo, Josie and the Pussycats, Super Friends, The Smurfs. I mean, wow, so many classics.
Let's talk Flintstones. 1960 to '66, that was huge. First animated sitcom in prime time?
Aimed at adults, not just kids.
Right. And openly inspired by the Honeymooners. Fred and Barney are basically Ralph Cramden and Ed Norton in caveman outfits.
Ah, totally.
But the genius was the satire, transplanting 1960s suburbia into the Stone Age town of Bedrock.
All that Stone Age technology.
Exactly. The foot-powered cars, the dial cranes, the mammoth vacuum cleaners.
It was hilarious, but also kind of a commentary, right?
Absolutely. A witty take on consumerism, suburban life, relying on modern gadgets.
Yeah.
It resonated.
And Yabba Dabba Doo became part of the language, plus all the merchandise.
Pebble cereal, Flintstones vitamins, still around today. It proved animation could work in prime time for adults, paving the way for The Simpsons and everything after.
A true landmark show. Okay, what about Scooby-Doo? 1969.
Scooby-Doo's creation was very specific. It came directly out of parent groups protesting cartoon violence in the late 60s.
Ah, action for children's television.
Exactly. Shows like Space Ghost were getting pulled. So CBS exec Fred Silverman went to Hanna-Barbera and said, give me something non-violent, but that teens will still watch.
Tricky brief.
Yeah, and their solution was brilliant.
Yeah.
The monster is always a human in a mask.
That classic formula.
Yeah. Mystery Inc. shows up, spooky monster, investigation, chase scene, then unmasking the villain. Usually someone pulling a hoax for mundane reasons like smuggling.
So no real violence, and it taught kids rationalism. Look for the logical explanation.
Exactly. And it cleverly tapped into the counterculture vibe, too. The Mystery Machine, Shaggy's whole look and slang.
Totally. The hippie van, the munchies.
It felt current. And that name, Scooby-Doo. Fun fact, Silverman heard Sinatra scatting doobie-doobie-doo on Strangers in the Night and thought it sounded catchy.
No way. That's where it came from. Hilarious.
Yep. Okay, then there's Yogi Bear, started on Huckleberry Hound in '58.
Became more popular than Huckleberry himself,
Yeah.
right?
Totally stole the show. Got his own series in '61. His voice and personality were inspired by Art Carney's Ed Norton from the Honeymooners again.
Ah, another Honeymooners connection.
Yeah. And the formula was simple. Yogi trying to steal picnic baskets in Jellystone Park.
Outsmarting Ranger Smith. Or trying to.
Right. His catchphrase, I'm smarter than the average bear. But his plans often hilariously backfire.
Classic Yogi.
And culturally, Yogi was interesting. He came up in the late 50s, early 60s, a time big on conformity.
Right, the organization man era.
Exactly. Yogi was this lovable nonconformist, gently rebelling against the rules, teasing authority, but never really causing harm.
A safe fantasy of rebellion.
Precisely. It tapped into that underlying desire for a bit of individualism in a conformist world.
So these shows weren't just cartoons, they were like prisms of their time.
It's a perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
They captured and reflected the zeitgeist. The Flintstones mirrored that post-war suburban dream, but also gently mocked its materialism.
Social comedy and Stone Age drag.
Exactly. And Scooby-Doo came out of the Vietnam era. The counterculture, the distrust of authority, unmasking fake monsters run by shady adults.
That really resonated with kids questioning the establishment. Don't trust authority, investigate.
Right. And Yogi offered that charming, acceptable rebellion when conformity was king. Hanna-Barbera's genius was tuning into that pulse of the times.
Making their work more than just entertainment, they became cultural texts.
Definitely. Important for understanding the American psyche at different moments.
Okay, let's bring it all together. Hanna's legacy, that incredible partnership. How did they make it work for 60 years?
Well, we talked about the complementary skills. Barbera, the outgoing, creative idea man from New York. Hanna, the reserved, pragmatic implementer from the Southwest. The artist and the engineer.
Master of timing, efficient manager.
Right. But here's a key thing for the longevity. While they were inseparable professionally, their personal lives were quite separate.
Oh, really? They weren't best buddies outside work?
Not really. Hanna hung out with animators, loved sailing, the outdoors. Barbara was more into the Hollywood scene, celebrities, fine dining.
Interesting. So that separation helped.
It seems so.
Yeah.
It allowed them to maintain deep professional respect without getting tangled in personal stuff. They famously had very few serious arguments over 6 decades.
That's incredible. A testament to their dynamic. And the awards beyond Tom and Jerry.
Oh, tons. Emmys for Huckleberry Hound, the Smurfs, a special Governor's Award Emmy for their overall impact.
Star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yep, 1976. Induction into the Television Hall of Fame in 94. They got recognition across film and TV, across eras.
But for Hanna, the most cherished award wasn't an Oscar or Emmy.
No. It was that Distinguished Eagle Scout Award from 1985 that tells you everything about his core values.
Honor, responsibility, discipline, above fame or fortune.
Exactly. And that came through in his leadership style. People called him a hard-nosed businessman, someone who ran a tight ship. That Boy Scout code translated directly into how he built and ran the company.
So, summing up Hanna's legacy, he's way more than just an animator.
Oh, absolutely. He was a true titan. At that critical moment when theatrical shorts were dying and TV was rising, he and Barbara didn't just adapt. They led the charge.
They embraced the new medium.
Totally. Their company and limited animation literally saved jobs, created a sustainable model for animation on TV. You could call them the saviors and founders of the TV animation industry.
That's a big statement, but probably accurate.
I think so. And culturally, they were shapers. Tomcat, Fred Flintstone, Scooby-Doo, these aren't just characters. They're global icons, embedded in our collective memory through everything.
Toys, food, movies, everything.
He was a pragmatic innovator, visionary entrepreneur, and that partnership with Barbera was this masterclass in balancing art and commerce, creativity and efficiency.
And underpinning it all were Hanna's core values. Discipline, structure.
Yeah, those Boy Scout principles really shaped how he operated, and through him shaped an entire industry. Their combined influence defined TV animation, and it truly endures.
It really does. So, as we wrap up, here's something to think about, maybe a provocative thought for you, the listener. Consider how those tight constraints of early TV, the tiny budgets, the demand for speed, actually forced an innovation, limited animation, and how that innovation then unleashed this incredible wave of creativity and cultural impact nobody could have predicted.
Necessity being the mother of invention on a huge scale.
Exactly. So, what current limitations or challenges in our world today, maybe in technology or art or business, could actually be disguised opportunities? Opportunities waiting for a similar kind of creative revolution, maybe sparked by someone with that Hanna-like blend of pragmatism and vision.
That's a great question to ponder. Where's the next limited animation breakthrough hiding?
What an incredible journey we've taken through William Hanna's life and his enduring legacy. He truly was a titan of animation who shaped so much of the entertainment we grew up with, and his innovations continue to resonate and inspire. Thanks for tuning in to this deep dive. If you enjoyed our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell.